Hey, Jai Gurudev, and welcome to yet another summary of Yoga Vasishtha. This week we are going to see pages 126 to 131, which is 5th of May till 10th of May. So, it is the Vasishtha, sage Vasishtha is saying, O Rama, the entire creation of the world appearance is but an accidental manifestation of the intention of the omnipotent conscious energy of the infinite consciousness or Brahman. So he is saying that it is just an accidental manifestation, and then he has explained that how this accidental manifestation has arisen or come into its place. The intention itself contains and thus gives rise to the mind, to the substance thus intended. Immediately the mind reproduces the substances as if it is objective, as if in the objective field. At this stage, there is a notion of this creation having factually abandoned its fundamental and true nature as the infinite consciousness. The infinite consciousness apparently sees within itself the pure void. So it is the infinite consciousness which is just there, existing on its own. In that, there is like a vibration arises. In that vibration, which it feels like it is there, so there is something void in it. It wants to know itself, and when it wants to know itself, that intention of wanting to know itself separates it from the its pure nature, though the pure nature still exists within itself, but it just feels the separation, and that separation wants to know itself further, and then it experiences the space in it, the first whatever the intention, and the space is existed, and then of course from the space there is a diversity arises, and then the whole creation gets created. So in the space there is a diversity arises. There is wind gets produced, then after that there is a fire get produced, and after that there is a water get produced, and after the water there is a solidification that happens there with the dirt and other things, and then all these planets after revolving and after coming to that particular stage after millions and millions of years become condensed and become one rock solid, making into the planets, and these planets after solidification, all this every creation has come up. So the one has become two, and the two has come out of one is the right way of saying. The two has come out of one, though the one is still experiencing the two, but two is not experiencing the one. And then that 2 multiplies into 4, multiplies into 6, multiplies into 10, and then there is so much of diversity right now that we can experience this here. How many species of living beings only are here? Only the out of the all the species of living beings here, only the human beings are fit to be instructed into the nature of the truth. Now this is very important, you need to understand, because again it's a very scientific and very understandable thing, because of the evolution that happened, and the Homo erectus, that when the humans first initially, when they were evolving from the species, namely monkeys or gorillas or whatever it is, the first thing that step happened, that they stood up, and when they stood up, the whole brain changed, the whole position in the space changed, and that's why then the further development happened, and that development was so fast and so good, and so in particular, because it actually went into that particular state rapidly, whether it actually started understanding its nature more than the physical what you can see. So so it's a development of that, this body and especially the brain, to understand the subtlest part. This is very important, and amongst all the creatures or the animals or the living creatures here, only the humans, why they can understand, because of this ability to understand and the development of the brain. Because it is like if your car has got an engine which is powerful enough, then only it will go with the speed, a certain speed. If the engine is not powerful enough, it will not go with the certain speed. To go to the space and beyond the sun and beyond the what is happening outside the galaxy, you need to have that much capacity of the solar satellite or something, your normal aeroplane will not go there. In the same way, though the knowledge is there, though the understanding is there, though it was there, it is there and it will be there, only the humans have developed that ability, this particular engine, to go and experience the subtlest part of the existence. And that is why it is always said it is very important for the humans to start walking on this path and realize what is that, because in the other life forms you will not be able to experience or understand this. To think of that being the creator and the universe as created is absurd. And when one lamp is kindled from the another, there is no creator creation relationships form for them. Fire is one. It's like, I just given the example, right? Like if you burn light one candle, and with that one candle, if you lit thousands of candles, then also there nothing has happened. Though you see thousand candles light there, actually it's the same fire which is gone into the different one. So it is the same self which is there in everyone. The material that is used for making the candle, the wick and the wax, that is different. That is what is we're using the 5 elements to create this body. So the burning thing, what is happening in this body, the wax and mind considered as a wick, if you use it, that is there. But inside is the same self which is utilizing burning this thing and you using its light to see and experience the world. Consciousness is Brahman. The mind is Brahman. The intellect is Brahman. Brahman alone is a substance. Sound or word is Brahman, and Brahman alone is a component of all the substance. So when that is understood, that is the same fire which is there into all the candles, it is the same self which is getting exposed, or it is getting it is experiencing the world through all those things. So it is the same self which has come to the next level, whether it's become ego sense, which we just discussed in one about chat that ego sense, that first I-ness that you feel, oh, I'm separate from this absolute and I am existing and I want to know myself. That's the first subtlest ego sense that is formed. Then it wants to know more about itself. Then the elements are formed, all the space, ether, space, water, air, fire. Then in that combination and permutation, all the other things form. Then the whole evolution process, like how the water came, and in the water first creatures came, and how the creatures came on the planet, and how the whole system went until this particular human beings. Even the human beings evolved. That revolution that happened from the monkeys to the human beings took like thousands and thousands of years, millions of years. It was just not like one day a monkey just stood up and it became a human. No, it was a slow process and steady process, which every generation by 1%, half a percent, 1%, get better and better. And then after lots and lots of generation, after thousands of years, it became different. What we can see today is completely different. So the same way, so the same self is there, which is there into the 5 elements. So these 5 elements combined form this body. In that body, you have these 5 elements are got connections with eyes has got connection with the fire. Then mouth has got connection with the water. You cannot taste without the water in the tongue. You cannot see without the fire in the eyes. You cannot hear the sound if there is no space in the ears. If your body is all covered with a suit or something from top to bottom, you will not feel the air. So air is there because of the skin is there because the air is there. And then the words are coming out because there is a space there, and the smell is there because of the earth element. So all these things are just connected. So from the elements, this next step came in, the senses came in, and from the senses you can experience the whole world. So it is basically the Brahman which become individual consciousness, Brahman or absolute, which become individual consciousness. In that individual consciousness, on a little bit further step, or the same step, the I-ness or the ego sense came in. That ego sense developed into the concepts, habits, beliefs, whatever ideas it created for its own self. And then it required a body to experience those ideas, those concepts, or those desires. So the body is formed. Then in that body, that ego sense or the subtlest form of that individual consciousness started experiencing through this world by giving its own energy to its senses to um, experience this world. So in eyes it is the same individual consciousness which is experience, which is sending its energy to see. In your mouth it's the same thing which is sending its energy for the words to come out. In your ears it's the same thing which is listening the words that is coming on your ears. So it is the same thing which is projecting itself into the physical form for experiencing the world. It is not the different thing. The body is not different than the self. The self is, it is the same, it only projected as a different and is solidified, it's condensed. That's why we can see it and we can feel it in our naked eyes. And that is why it said it's all the same. And behind that, behind the last level of that individual consciousness, which is doing all those things and experiencing through all the senses and want to experience the world through all the senses, it's the absolute, it's the Brahman. So it's basically the Brahman which is there, the infinite consciousness which is there into the individual consciousness, which is there into the elements, which is there into the forms, which is there into the senses, and which is there experiencing itself, the world around it. I'm repeating the same thing again and again just to make sense that you will get the idea about how everything is one. Because till the time that non-duality is experienced and this duality is gone back to that non-duality, this knowledge will not be able to, you will not be able to understand it or experience it. Right now on the intellectual level, quite a few of you are understanding it, and that is very good, and yet the basic step of understanding this knowledge. The intellectual level, when it will understand, then at one particular point, by repeating or by overthinking or by again and again visiting that same knowledge inside you, all of a sudden one day you will think, oh, I can see this is what it is, and then it will start turning into the experience, and after the experience it will start getting more and more experience will start making it into getting you close to the existence, that what we really are. So when you realize that which is indicated by the words, then naturally you will abandon the jugglery of the world. So he's just giving them examples. In the infinite consciousness itself, there is neither an intention nor a veil. No. So he again saying the same thing. Though you can see all those things, though you can hear all those things, though you can think of all those things, this is just a jugglery of words. In infinite consciousness, there is neither an intention nor a veil of division. It just happened, it just happened accidentally, and you can see like there is a veil and there is a individual consciousness, but that itself is before you as the word. So before you hear these, before you know the words, before you know yourself, it was always there, it will always be there. Weapons are destroyed by other weapons. Dirt is cleans dirt, poison cures poison, enemies are destroyed by other enemies. Even the Maya rejoices when it is destroyed. The moment you become aware of this Maya, it vanishes. So the moment you sit back and start feeling that separation, this Maya vanishes. That's what he's saying. Now you sit back and you just see, wherever you are watching this video, on your laptop or on your gadget. Now ask yourself a question. Am I this laptop, am I this gadget, or am I separate from this? If this will break tomorrow, will I still exist? Of course, that means you are not there, right? So that is separate. The same way you sit there and you go back. Am I this body or am I separate from this body? If this body is not there, will I still exist? Am I this mind or am I not this mind? If this mind is not there, will I still exist? Am I this intellect, memory, ego, sense, or I am not all of this? If this all will go, will I still exist? Now, the last things that we discussed just now, from the body to the ego sense, everything, when you are thinking about that, ask yourself or challenge yourself with another question, that what happens in the deep sleep? If this all is not there present in the deep sleep, yet I exist, and when I get up, then I again get all those information, all this memory, all this intellect, all this body. But in my deep sleep, I'm not aware of this body, my mind, my ego sense, my name, my knowledge, nothing, my memory, everything is gone. That is what we are calling it as a state of absolute, the Brahman. That you still exist at a particular level, even your individual consciousness, that you are individual, That feeling is also gone, that I-ness is also gone, that ego sense is also gone. You're just gone. The separateness that you exist right now at every level is everything is vanishes in our deep sleep. That is what is unconscious way of resting or going down into the your basic nature. If you start doing this consciously, then you will start seeing the reality the way it is. Right now imagine you are into deep sleep. You are not aware of your body, you are not aware of your mind, you are not aware of your ego sense, and keep going back. Just be there. It is difficult, it is very difficult and very challenging, but now you heard these words and now it is there as an intellectual concept in you. It will develop slowly if you keep working on that. That's how the knowledge is done inside you. That's how the self knowledge is there, which comes up and start giving you the Maya is needed to experience. And of course, then when you understand all those things, there is no need to hate this Maya. There is no need to hate your body. You are understanding that because of this, and this is there because of that. So both is interconnected. Before you are born, you were still existing, but you did not know that you were existing. Now you know that you are existing because of this body. There is a reference point of this body which is telling you that there is something inside which is experiencing the whole world through this body. So both are equally important. Maya is there, which is equally important because it is telling you and giving you the chance to starting point to go to that where you want to reach. So when you realize also, then also many sages or many saints or many masters, you will see they are still doing the service to the world because they know that there is no point in hating someone. There are very few which has been given this advice and which is completely not right, 100% right, that leave everything and go into the Himalayas or into the forest and just live a isolated life. Because you cannot, your mind will still be there, your body will still be there, your concepts will still be there. You can run away from the world, but how you can run away from your own world you have created inside you? You know, the aspects of this okay, so the manifestation of this omnipotent of the infinite consciousness enters into the alliance of the time, space and causation. So time, space and causation. Time, space and causation. The moment individual consciousness is there and it wants to know itself, the time has started. The time will finish when this individual consciousness will collapse and go down into the absolute. Till the time is there. Into the absolute, there is no time. The moment the individual consciousness wants to know itself, the void is created and the void is space. So time and space is there. Now this individual consciousness, with the help of this time and space and the causation, that what is the cause, what is the effect, what is the cause, what is the effect, it will go multiply and comes to the physical world. Causation, which is indispensable of the manifestation. These arose in the infinite. These arose with infinite names and forms. That's what we discussed just now. You know, the causation is the one which is creating lots of infinite forms and shapes and names. Time and space is there. It is permanent. It is same for everybody. The physical time and space I'm talking about. Now, that aspect of this infinite consciousness which relates itself to the manifestation of the names and forms, and thus the time-space causation is known as the knower of the field or the witness consciousness. Now, wherever you are, from that standpoint, the individual consciousness or I-ness or I, you can see these other things happening. That is your witness consciousness. Now, remember one thing: if you touch the absolute, you will not have any experience of it, or you will not be able to be in the absolute as an individual and experience all those things. So get rid of that idea. If that would have happened, then in the deep sleep you would have seen yourself, oh, I am sleeping and I am enjoying the sleep. Once you are with the absolute, you are gone. You cannot have that separation. So you cannot know what is the different thing. Only up till the individual consciousness, that I-ness, that first subtle ego sense, you can reach and you can see all those things happening inside you as a body, mind, intellect, concepts, ideas, beliefs, this, that, etc., all those things. And then that is your witness consciousness. That is called the knower of the field. All the practices you are doing right now, whether it's the breath work, whether it's your mantra meditation, or whether it's it actually has the potential, if you practice it correctly, to withdraw you and take you deep into that witness consciousness, whether you can stabilize and see. However, 99% of our people do not have that objective to stable that is there. They are trapped into the practice. They just keep doing the practice and keep working on that. After doing the practice, withdraw yourself and let go and just see. If you do any of the meditation of the Gurudev, after giving some instructions, at one point he says, now let go of everything and just relax. Let go of all your efforts and relax. And be with yourself, or repose into yourself. All those instructions are very important, because that's from there your actual meditation starts, maybe for a minute or two, because that is what is required. For the 15, 16, 17 minutes whatever we are doing, that drama is to, we are getting there, and then we are meditating with ourselves, with our first individual true nature from where we are existing. So this is very interesting. So this is the power of the practice. If you know what is your aim, what you are seeking for. If you know, if your aim is different, oh, I want some peaceful mind, I want good relationship, I want to earn this, I want to have this, then you are just working on that outside. But your practice should not take you to the deeper sense of your existence. Till the time you put that as your seeking thing. Now, these beings roam in the universe and sometimes uplifted, sometimes. So, in the 7th of May, 128, he has just given the information about how all these different human beings or different living forms, how they are. They are like herbs, grass, roots, monkeys, donkeys, sages, and everything is there. Everything is a part of that. Then, on the 8th of May, page number 129, Vasishtha says, that which was non-existence in the beginning and that we shall cease to be at the end is not there in the middle also. So what was your existence before you were born? If something inside you will tell you, no, I was not there. So I was not there. Now who is witnessing that and telling you confidently that I was not there? That was there. Now when you will die, what you will say? Oh, I will not be there if I will die. So when you will die, so what will die and what will remain, which is confidently telling you now that I will not be there. So which was there before your birth, which was there after you will die, which is there right now also telling you, yes, I am there, I am existing right now, I can feel myself, I can be with myself, I can understand myself, I can know myself, that is there right now also. So this is what the subtlest form we are talking about. Now the next sentence he said, that which are not existing in the beginning and which will not exist at the end is not there right now also. So body was not there before you were born, body was not there after you will die, so body is not there right now. So it is just a projection that is happened, which you are feeling strongly connected with and associated with. That's why you are calling it as you, as an existence. But before your birth it was not there, after your death it will not be there. So this is what you to think. What is this body? Is it really existing, or am I just imagining myself having into the body and this body is there? Now, all this is unreal, including myself, and there will be no sorrow in you. If you see this, all this is unreal, including myself, and all this is real, including myself, then also there will not be sorrow. So either you should feel complete separateness from this and sit into that witness consciousness, or you can feel the oneness with everything and say, oh, I'm in every form. It is just the same consciousness which is there in every form. And I am also the part of that consciousness which is experiencing this world through this body. I'm the same fire in this candle. It is the same fire in the different candles. And then knowing that the entire universe, including one's wealth, wife, etc., are nothing but the creation of the jugglery of the mind. Hence that which generates attachment and craving in the fool generates detachment and cool indifference in the wise. So whatever this is you are getting attached to is creating the detachment into the wise. So you will feel detached to all those things when you become wiser and wiser, and it will create that. It means if you see your body if you are not wise, you will be attached to that, and you would like to do more work on your body, and you want to impress the other people. If you see your body is not you, then you will not worry about your body. It will just work the way you want you to work, and the people will get impressed or not, that is their thing. But you will be detached from that, you will not be attached from that. That's what he's saying. Now, at ninth of page, O Rama, they who are busy in diverse affairs of the world pursue the pleasure and power, do not desire to know the truth, which is obviously do not. So he's just given the thing, he's just given the another story in here. To illustrate this, I shall narrate you interesting legend in the country known as Magadha, which had an abundance of the which had so before we go into this story, actually I just realized that there is a question about this last two lines on 128. After attaining this self knowledge, they are liberated liberated from the delusion, and they do not return to the planes of birth and death. So after attaining this self knowledge, after realizing that who you are and getting established into that witness consciousness, you are liberated from all the concepts which are form after your individual consciousness, as the ego, sense, intellect, mind, memory, body, all the ideas related to your body, all the ideas related to the world, all the ideas related to the name, fame, wealth, everything. You are liberating yourself from those concepts, from those beliefs, from those ideas, and you are not returning to the birth and death. See, birth and death is the concepts attached when we are into this body. So once you know you are beyond this body, then you are free from the birth and death, isn't it? And the self-knowledge, why it is important? Because self-knowledge is telling you about who you really are. It is the self-knowledge, knowledge about who I am I. What is this real self? I refer to I. Is I is a universal word everybody in every culture, every human being uses and refers itself as an I. But everybody is different, every mind is different, everybody's beliefs is different. Then who is this I they always refer to? Who is this I you always refers to? Think. Knowledge about that I, knowledge about that self gives you liberation from all the concepts and all your ideas. And then he is telling the story about his he had about the country called Magadha, which had an abundance of the pleasure garden. There lived a sage whose name was Dasura. He is engaged in the breathtaking penance, and he was a great ascetic and who had no interest into the worldly pleasure. So he was a sage who did not have any interest in the worldly pleasure, and he was doing some penance. He has a son. He was a son of another sage known as Saraloma, but it as ill luck that he lost both his parents, and when he was young, and the deities of the forest took pity on him, and then they said to him. So it's a story about the sage when he lost his parents, who were also a sage. That oh, the forest deities, they said, "Oh wise man, you are son of sage. Why do you weep like an ignorant? Do you not know that the nature of this world?" And then, young one, such is the very nature of this world, that it is not always present. Things come into the being, exist for some time, and then destroyed. Whatever being there appears to be, from the relative point of view, even if it is being called Brahma, the creator, is subject to the inevitable end. So if you are calling something as existing from the relative point of view, then it is going to have the end. Hence, do not grieve over the inevitable death of your parents. The young man's sorrow was gone, and then he got up and performed the funeral rites, and then he began to lead the righteous life. And then after this, created in his since he had not yet realized the truth, he immersed into performing into the right rituals. So he wanted to know the truth after he realized whatever the deity has said. And then all this has created the whole world is fear, and So he started feeling that I should know the self knowledge, and while he is wanted to know the self knowledge, he started feeling that the whole world is full of impurities. So he went on the treetop, and then wishing to live there on the treetop, he performed the sacred rite, during which he cut off and offered his own flesh to the fire. And the fire appeared in front of him and announced, "You will surely attain the wish." Accepting, fire disappear. Okay, fire said, "You will appear the dish," because he is giving his own body part. So there's not the literal meaning of that. You don't have to do this thing in your real life. It is like you are not attached to your body part and you are happy to let it go. That's what he's saying. The sage then saw in front of him the huge kadamba tree, which had the majestic appearances. Now this is very important. Okay, listen to the explanation of this tree. It seemed to wipe with his hand the uh, tears of his beloved sky, and it is actually covered the space, and it stood like a cosmic form and all that. This, if you read this particular paragraph on 131, 10th of May, this is what is the consciousness, the field of consciousness, the net of consciousness, which is spread everywhere. This is what is he's trying to give a little detailed explanation about it. So, he says further, it stood like a cosmic form of the Lord, with the sun and moon at his eyes, and laden with flowers, and it rained them on the holy and the divine sages who travel in the sky, and the bees that dwell on the sang of, it's just given the explanation about how the consciousness is there. It might be a little bit confusing, but that's okay. It is just trying to explain. See, when you sit and meditate, and when you want to know the self, mostly the sages and all that, remember, your experience will be a little bit diluted with your concepts and with your body form and with your understanding. So though everybody will see the truth, the way they see the truth will be different. The glasses that they are wearing will have the different shades, and they will explain that according to their shade that they are seeing this truth. So truth is the same, and what they are explaining is also same, but that is their experience. So you will not feel something like this, not necessary you or anybody else will experience the same thing. You will experience something different according to the way you are, And because he had taken the body of the Kadamba tree, he was known as the Kadamba Dasura. He commenced because he was established into that consciousness, his name became that consciousness name was Kadamba, and then his own name. And then he commenced his austerity sitting on the top of the tree, and then he performed there. One day he beheld in front of him the nymph clad in the flower. He was extremely beautiful, and the sage said, "Oh, beautiful lady." So there was a nymph who was there, and then he said, "What do you want?" And then she said, "I want a son, I want to give a birth to a son." And then he just picked up something from there and handed it over to her and said, "Okay, soon you will have a son." And then she returned there home, and after some time she had a son, and she 12 years, and then she returned back to this stage with a 12-year-old son after 12 years. And then she said, "Lord, this is your son, and I have instructed him all the branches of learning. I pray that you may instruct him the self-knowledge, for who will let one's son grow into the fool." The sage accepted to do so, and the goddess went away. From that day, the sage began to instruct the young man all the branches of the self-knowledge. So the self means, what it's saying is, though this sage was not married or not involved into the marriage, he still had the power to give the blessing to that lady to have a son. And then once she had a son, then he decided to accept him and give him the self-knowledge. Now Vasishta said, during this period I myself was there, and the sage instructed. So this is where we will end now. The sage is instructing his own son with his happened by his blessing to the nymph he saw during his austerities, and what instruction he gave to his son, how he imparted the self-knowledge to his son, that we will see in a next episode. Till the time, you keep reading And good, I'm very glad actually few of you are still finding some interest and you got some questions, and I've been able to help you in whatever my understanding is. So this is a very good way of going like this, like just challenging your own concepts and not understanding this concept from the book, and understanding it through this our conversation is a very important way of learning. So very good going, and I will see you next time. I will post in the group what pages we are going to read. So till then, take care. Jai Gurudev.